Hey everyone, this is Bryan and I wanted to pay another tribute to my grandpa this week by sharing some personal stories and again one of the poems that he has recited. Now, a couple things that I think are kind of interesting is that this shirt that I'm wearing right now was my grandpa's. I inherited just 3 shirts from him and I really love them. They've been in the wash like a million times and I really love that. And so one of the things is I've been contemplating how I can continue to give great understanding of who my grandpa was. Obviously share his poems, which are great, but I wanted to share different stories. And one of the things that came to my mind this week is that my grandpa was a profound example when it came to many things, but I would say today I want to talk about one thing, specifically his finances. I as a kid never looked at my grandpa as like, richer than millionaires, that kind of thing, but I didn't look at him as like a ding-dong that was using his money dumbly, right? I felt like my grandpa was a really, really smart guy with his money. He was an accountant, so that kind of makes sense that he should be, right? He focused on that all the time. He should be very meticulous about his finances. But my grandpa was a very good man when it came to what I learned later on. And I had a couple interactions with my grandpa that he had some investments, had some property, had some different things. I don't know the extent of all of it by any means, but he was smart with what he did. He invested in some land, he invested in some different property that I know of, and there's probably many other things that I don't know. And I'm not really interested in sharing anything around that anyways, but still, he was smart. He had a great home in West Mesa, and we always were there. He had a pool. My grandpa was able to live a very peaceful life, is what I really kind of can see in his living, is that he was peaceful. He was happy and he got to do the things that he wanted to do, which was take care of his family, his wife, and be there for us. And so I really appreciate that about who my grandpa was. One day I was having a conversation with my grandpa though, and we were talking about the differences in what things are worth now, gas prices and ice cream scoops and all that kind of fun stuff that when he was a kid, and how, for a penny or a nickel you could get a couple, scoops of ice cream, and now it's, a few dollars. It's just differences, right? And so as we were talking about this, my grandpa taught me some lessons that I'm not going to share all of them because one of them in particular is pretty personal, but we got on the topic of debt and finances and, mortgages and that kind of thing. And I said, well, my grandpa worked to pay for a car so he could go to college. Like he earned the money and paid the car off so he have something to be able to get to college, right? And so he did that. And that was always in his life. He was always paying for what was necessary in his life. And I said, well, Grandpa, what did you ever go into debt for? What was like a house or something? What did you ever go into debt for? And he looked me square in the eye and said, nothing. And the context, there's a lot more profound that hit me, but it was just impressive to me that my grandpa never went into debt for anything. He paid cash for what he needed to do. And he had a boat, he had cars, he had a house, he made things work, and he was smart with his money. I'm so proud of that. My grandpa being through the Depression, through world wars, and learning a lot in his lifetime, and so that was really interesting to me. And so while we may or may not have great examples of finances in our life, I thought that was really intriguing. And while times are maybe a little different, but it's still a very great counsel to give anybody, is that stay out of debt, because it's going to make your life more peaceful. And that's what I got to see in my grandpa's life. He got to do what he needed to do, and I felt like he was happy, and he never lacked anything, and he never was paying debt for anything, as I learned later in life. So long story, but I just was excited about that and wanted to share a little bit about how just meticulous my grandpa was when it comes to his finances, and he was smart. And I look to that as a great example and want to be like him. The poem that I want to share today is How You Die, and it's Edmund Cook that wrote this poem. It's a great poem, and it kind of falls in line with this topic of who do you want to be and how do you want to be and what kind of person do you want to be in your life. My grandpa was one that made good on all of his promises, and that's the kind of guy that I want to be. And so I want to share this poem with you. I hope you enjoy it, and I will see you next week.
This is How Did You Die by Edmund Vance Cook. Did you tackle that trouble that came your way with a resolute heart and cheerful, or hide your face from the light of day with a craven soul and fearful? Oh, a trouble's a ton, or a trouble's an ounce, or a trouble is what you make it. It isn't the fact that you're hurt that counts, but only how did you take it. You're beaten to earth, well, what's that? Get up with a smile on your face. It's nothing against you to fall down flat, but to lie there, that's disgrace. The harder you're thrown, the higher you'll bounce. Be proud of your blackened eye. It isn't the fact that you're licked that counts, but how did you fight and why? And though you be done to death, what then if you battled the best you could? If you played your part in the world of men, the critics will call it good. Death comes with a crawl or comes with a pounce, but though he be slow or spry, it isn't the fact that you're dead that counts, but how did you live and why?